That's right, my peeps. How are you this morning? GM. Today, this is what we are talking about. This is what we are talking about. Did that feedback there? I forgot to turn off the monitors. The monitoring. Now, I'll go straight into it, man. You know, for the longest time, I thought I was a thin neck kind of guy. You know, because before I had issues with the wrong, I guess you could say the wrong kind of guitar necks. And probably something got to do with just the shape of the neck, not so much the thickness or the thinness of the neck. You've seen this one, the PRS Custom 24 20th Anniversary Artist Package with a pattern thin, wide thin neck. 2000. This is the pre-renaming of the neck profiles. This is a comfortable neck. Wide thin. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Wide thin or pattern thin, as the updated necks are known today in PRS. I like this a lot. Actually, I ended up, with my first PRS, the Custom 22. That is still my number one, and that was my first PRS, and also happens to be the very first one that I tried before when I decided to go for a PRS. First one I tried? I don't know. Probably the second one. But it didn't take me long to find that guitar. That one has a pattern neck. And it previously known as the wide fat. Similar, it seems similar to a 50s Gibson style neck. Maybe a little bit thinner than a 50s, I think, because now that I think about it, when I compare it to my Les Paul standard 50s, the 50 standard seems a bit fatter than the pattern neck. Anyway, yeah, I ended up gigging this more than my Custom 22, only because the color. I like the color, and also because I thought I was a thin neck guy. It's comfortable, but I mean, really, both of them are comfortable. When I'm gigging long stretches of gigging with this, and then the next few more gigs, I'm gonna play with the Custom 22, switch over to the pattern neck. It's not really a problem. It'll take me about 10 seconds to acclimate and adjust to the different neck, and it's no problem. No problem. My first good electric guitar is my ESP LTD M1000 Deluxe. I think it's a 2005 model. And that one, I think that one is a what size of neck was that? That was a extra thin U or extra thin flat. Probably an extra. Yeah, it was one of those. It's extra thin, and it had. You definitely felt a flat area on the back, very back, where when you're doing a chord like that, where the pad of your thumb would sit. It felt flat. This one is a flat neck, but you feel it's still kind of rounded at the back, where the pad of your thumb will sit there, like that. Still feels rounded. It's a thin neck. And when I got that guitar, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. Oh, thin neck, shredding and all that. Being young and not knowing a lot of things. And I enjoyed it for a while. I felt like, I was better than most people because I had the thin neck thing going, as you do when you're younger. Then shortly after, I had other guitars over the years. I had a Epiphone Corina Flying V, the black one. That one had a fat neck. I sold that one because I couldn't really come to terms with at the time the frets, because the frets at the time I was used to the extra jumbo frets that ESP would have, and then the Epiphone would have kind of like smaller or shorter frets. And wasn't really into that. But I think it was a good guitar, right? I sold it. It was a bit unwieldy, and I don't know. I just didn't really. It was an impulse buy. Now, and then I had a. Which one I did get next? I had my Tanglewood. You've seen that one, the gold top LP copy. Just keeps on making noise, huh? And then the LP copy, that one had like probably a similar neck to this, like I tend to call it a Strat neck. That was good because, and then it had big frets too. That for an LP copy, single cut copy. And then, so I got my Custom 22 PRS, and then I got used to I was kind of afraid because I had this PRS copy before. It's called an Indie, INDIE, Indie IPR. IP as in I for Indigo, P Papa, R Romeo, Indie IPR, black satin with a stop tail. It's a PRS copy because I didn't have much money back then, and I got that cheaper PRS looking guitar, Indie IPR. That one, I think that might have resembled a pattern neck or a pattern regular neck. And either the neck shape was wrong for me, or there's just something wrong with my forearm, or my forearm muscles I remember my hand would cramp up around this area here. This area here. From the neck. And I had it refretted. Maybe I needed big frets because because the frets were smaller, I tend to press harder, and I don't know what was wrong with the guitar, but I ended up selling that guitar. And then ever since, I've been afraid of thicker necks until I gave the Custom 22 a chance, and it turned out to be okay. Maybe just rehabbed my hand better at that point. I don't know what happened, but some reason I have accepted that the fat neck thing. Then I bought this, and then the Gibson. That was an anomaly. That was something strange because I initially wanted to add some kind of Les Paul to my collection. That's the funny thing, and I thought, you know what? I don't really want to get a Gibson because of all the disadvantages of a Gibson, all the flaws that historical, right? So I thought, I'll get an Epiphone. So I got the Epiphone, the one you saw, the Epiphone Custom Shop Les Paul, Les Paul Custom. But man, when I got that guitar, I don't know, it must have been because when I was going around the shops trying some Les Paul Customs Epiphone, I got curious and I tried maybe one or two Gibsons, started playing them, and then I thought, hey, this is all right. And then I was looking at it. Now, when you look at the Epiphone, like a 50s standard Epiphone Les Paul, notice the binding, right? The binding around the body. When you look at a Gibson Standard and an Epiphone Standard Les Paul, notice how on the Gibson, I think the Epiphone and the Gibson binding is the same thickness on this side, right? When you're looking at it, like when you're looking at it there, from this view, it's the same thickness of the binding, like the width. But when you're looking at it from the front, you know how you can still see some binding from the front, like when you're looking, let's say from the front on, or from the side, from this angle, you don't see this side of the binding. You see the binding from here, right? On the Epiphone, you don't see much of the binding from this angle, but on the Gibson, for some reason, you see a bit thicker binding from this angle. You understand? That, I don't know, for some reason that little detail caught me. Something, maybe, something about binding is makes a guitar look good. Binding that looks well done. Maybe the color needs the shading, the color shade needs to be correct. I don't know, something about it. And the way the Gibson resonated, it's different. It's even different than my PRS's. I don't know. Maybe it's because my strings are older. Even though they're Elixir, right? But even over time, Elixirs can still the strings can still get warmer over time, even though they still feel super good. This is pretty resonant guitar. Also, compared to the Custom 22, that one, the 22 acoustically has more low mid, and it's a warmer sounding acoustically. This one is a leaner sounding one, and leaner and a bit brighter. But yeah, anyway, I was impressed with the Gibsons. I never thought, I never really, to be fair, I've been kind of semi-knocking Gibsons without really giving them a chance. But again, to be fair, you can try 10 Gibson standards, like let's say 50 standards or 60, whatever, 60. There's going to be some of them that are boring, and then some of them that are a few of them that are magical. I don't know. I don't remember. I know I tried a bunch of during the time I was looking for a Gibson Les Paul. I have tried maybe, I don't know, 10 of them, and 1, 2, 3, maybe it's 4 out of 10 or 5 out of 10, because I also tried a greenie, you know, not the expensive greenie, not the $20,000 greenie, the matte satin looking greenie. It resonated pretty good. Anyway, back to my preference of guitar necks. So yeah, I just got the Gibson Les Paul bug after buying the Epiphone Les Paul and trying out a couple Gibsons in various stores, and then that's when I just, oh man, the bug got me. And then now I really, so even though I hate the what would you call it, the practicalities of the headstock of Gibsons, I'll be honest with myself, man. I guess you could say, I could say they either look good, or do they look good because they're iconic, or do they just really look good? Either way, it looks good to me now. And so now that I got the Gibson Les Pauls, standard 50s with the fat neck, yeah, I grew to like it, and then I enjoy it, honestly, right? And then it occurred to me, my first ever guitar, when I started my journey in playing guitar, my first ever guitar was my classical guitar, the one that I showed you, the Laser. Okay, and I don't know why I totally forgot about that. It totally blew my beliefs and all that, my misconceptions about, oh, you, thin necks is good, fat necks is for vintage, and all that. Why is it so noisy? And it made me analyze things. I'd be thinking, hey, wait a minute. You see, look at this. This is not even fatter, but this is somewhat fatter than my Gibson Les Paul 50s standard. This is a fat neck, bro. And this is what I learned guitar on. Right? What a good guitar this is. This is at least 20 years old. Man. Low action. Like, I'm not even a big fan of low action, but I kind of just left it. Because I cannot adjust I cannot put the action higher because it's that kind of bridge. And it's so well set up too. I didn't really, the nut, oh man, this is a tangent. The nut is, I think, after all these years, the nut is cut pretty good. A couple of strings are basically a tad too low now, but over the years, man, it never really occurred to me what the setup is like on this guitar, but I just knew from the beginning that this is a good guitar. I was very lucky with this. I didn't know how to choose a guitar. I didn't know. Nobody helped me in choosing this. I don't know. I kind of just, I saw the guitar. It was in front of the aisle, in the shop where I bought it from. Me and my parents and stuff. My family, my parents. I was younger back then, and then it was this guitar on a stand, on a ground A-frame stand, and another one that looked like this, but I chose this one probably for the looks. And yeah, I just took it from this, and then I must have played. I didn't even know what to do. I had no idea how to play guitar. I kind of just, I don't think I knew any chord, or I didn't even know how to fret it, and then I was from absolute zero. And then I must have just gotten it off of how it looked and maybe how it sounded. Because most guitars, when you I guess you could say budget guitars that you get today, it's usually kind of bad or badly set up and all this other stuff that I just don't like. But man, how lucky was I with this? Didn't know no chords, didn't know anything about guitar. I didn't, like I said, I didn't even know about the whole you fret the string and then you hit the string, right? Didn't know that. I was just like this, some kind of idiot. Oh yeah, sounds okay, yeah. Wow. Took me 20 years to realize this. 20, man. It's taking a moment, man, to let that all sink in. All this time I took that for granted. But yeah, I guess all this time it came full circle. I started off with a guitar with a fat neck. And then now I had a few of these necks that I experienced throughout my guitar playing life. And then now I got a Gibson Les Paul Standard. I think some would even class that as a baseball bat neck. And man, I'm kind of digging it. I never thought that. And then it made me kind of realize that I guess if the instrument is just set up well and overall sounds good to you, I guess you will just adapt to the neck, won't you? Kind of like when in a recording situation. Now that I think about it, I've some of the songs that I've recorded with my band, I've had to use other people's, like the studios, either other people's guitars or the studio's guitars, right? Like I think I remember playing a telly with a fat neck with was it a telly? I think it was a telly with a Evertune bridge because of the practicality of recording. So you keep staying in tune on all this. And you end up getting used to it, man. When the situation calls for you to step up, hey, you got the power to do so. All you have to do is decide. And then next thing you know, you're playing. You stop worrying about the neck. Oh, the neck's too thick. Oh, you start worrying about something else, like, oh, well, what's a good note to do after that? Oh, on this part, it sounds a bit kind of like empty. Let's add we need to add a guitar, like a little something on guitar to add texture. You're deep into the song, you forget because you acclimated to the neck, you adapted. Now you're thinking about something that's more important, the music, isn't it? So I guess that's the thing, really. When I hear some people say, "Oh man, I don't like that kind of neck, man. It's virtually unplayable." Is it really? Like, maybe you strongly prefer a certain kind of neck in that moment or at that time. We humans are adaptable, right? We are dynamic. Our preferences change. People change, right? So What if you like, you know, if you've always been a super strat kind of guy, and then you got, I'm not saying I'm a super strat kind of guy, but you know, you over there, you've been a super strat guy for a long time, and then all of a sudden you got the Les Paul bug. You wanted to buy Gibson Les Paul, and you happen to like the standard 50s because, like me, you like the look of the Clouson style tuners, like that, like the tulip knobs, and the Alnico 2 humbuckers, whatever, the fatter neck, even like if you've been thinking to yourself, oh man, I've been a super strat guy. Super strat would normally associate with a thinner neck, right? I mean, I've been such a super strat kind of neck guy, but is the Les Paul gonna be right for me? Maybe. Maybe you got the bug, and then you might just have what it takes in your mind might be primed to accept that new guitar, that new style, the Les Paul style, the fat neck. And then all of a sudden you're now either a fat neck type of guy, Les Paul kind of guy, or Les Paul neck kind of guy, fat neck, or you're now up, what do you call it, a versatile guitar player, neck-wise versatile. Then you're happier. Now you can accept, you know, your acceptance is broader. Just like what I've realized for myself, especially with this, the help of this, and man. So just, I don't know, I guess I would invite you to analyze yourself. If you're the kind who would complain about guitar necks for no good rational reason, you know, it's just an irrational complaint. Think about it. Do I really hate this type of neck? Why do I hate this kind of neck? Is it because when I play, it's really causing me pain? Like, is it a medical reason, or because I cannot shred in it? Because when I think about it, Alexi Laiho, who played his signature Sawtooth ESP SVs, apparently they had fat necks, and he's still able to shred. There are guitarists who can shred in fat necks. There are guitarists who can shred in fat and thin necks. I even saw Yngwie Malmsteen. He was messing around with some kind of a Les Paul burst, and he was unbelievable, and he was so relaxed. It didn't seem like the guitar was hindering him. Now I don't know what kind of necks he has on his Strat, like his signature Strat, but whatever it is, Strat, Les Paul, he's shredding equally the same. So I understand that, you know, there's only not every guitarist can kind of do that, but okay, granted, but is it the only minority of guitarists can do that? Can the average guitarist can do that, or can the majority of guitarists do that? Is it all in the mind? Is it all in your head? I don't know, man. Ask yourself. Analyze yourself. Really think about that. But thank you for staying, and thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. That'll be all for now, man. I hope this was thought-provoking. And until next time, GM. And bro, look at the new subscribers, man. We still have new subscribers coming in. What? We got look at our recent subscribers here. The most recent, the Benedict, Musicians Digest, and the Neil Thaddeus Seno. Thank you, folks. Good morning. GM.